Refire. Don't retire, make the rest of your life the best of your life. Be Ken Blanchard and Morton Shaevitz. Meeting the mentor. I want to embrace what's left of life, not complain about it, said Janice, an active volunteer, and Larry agreed. Briggs told them to take up that topic with the good-looking man standing near the dance floor. Is that our 9th grade biology teacher, Mr. Jeffrey? Asked Larry. Briggs said that the teacher, now Dr. Jeffrey, had become a well-known expert on how the senior years can be the best part of your life. He headed the local university's psychology department and taught in the dual psychology, philosophy program. There's this feeling you get when you're refiring. It's like you're running on all cylinders. Excuse me, sir, said Larry. You were my favorite science teacher. What are you up to these days? Are you retired? I'm not retiring, I'm refiring. To refire is to approach life with gusto, said Jeffrey. It's to see each day as an opportunity for adventure and learning. It's to infuse passion and zest into every area of your life, emotional, intellectual, physical, and spiritual. He explained that he had spent the previous 10 years studying how the later decades in life can be rewarding and dynamic, and he offered to give them some coaching. We don't want to be one of those couples that are always talking about what they used to do, what they used to learn, what they used to know. On their way home, the Sparkses discussed how poorly some people their age had fared. They looked ailing, as if they were stagnating and their dreams were dying. Janice wondered if she and Larry might also be in a rut. Life really is a grind, Larry replied. Back home, Larry learned that his twin brother, Kevin, a driving, successful businessman, had died of a heart attack. Kevin's death rattled Larry. He thought about pulling back from work and enjoying his life. Janice had recently applied to become director of the nonprofit where she volunteered. They decided to talk to Jeffrey about his refiring philosophy. A visit with Dr. Jeffrey. Happiness is an inside-out job, Jeffrey told them, explaining that many people see success as the accumulation of externalities, money, recognition, power, and status. When you define yourself by what you acquire, you must constantly get more and more things to be happy. Jeffrey warned, at the end, it all goes back in the box. We try to stay emotionally engaged in our relationships with family and friends, as well as with each other. Jeffrey advised the Sparkses to concentrate on significance rather than success. He explained that 3 factors build significance: generosity, service, and loving relationships. And he advised the couple, make sure you are solid emotionally, intellectually, physically, and spiritually, in the heart, the head, the body, and the soul. When all 4 factors are working together, Jeffrey concluded, you become whole and create a powerful foundation for moving forward in your life. Sometimes we get into ruts, not only with each other, but also with our friends. We need to become more spontaneous. Dr. Jeffrey explained that the Sparkses needed to recharge their lives emotionally, intellectually, physically, and spiritually. To begin, he suggested that they talk to Wendy and Harold Tong, a likable couple who had just retired and who had a clear grasp of the emotional side of life. The first key, refiring emotionally. Positive feelings are like love in action, said Tong. His wife agreed but said, doing the same things the same way with the same people doesn't contribute to your emotional health or anyone else's. Be willing to take interpersonal risks and learn from them. If you know others well, you'll grow close enough that they'll be willing to praise you when you're fun to hang around with and give you honest feedback when you're being obnoxious. The Sparkses soon had an opportunity to put the Tongs' advice into action. Briggs called one evening and invited them to join him 20 minutes later at a theater Larry didn't really care for and to see an animated feature, a genre he disliked. Heeding the Tongs' advice about spontaneity, the Sparkses joined Briggs. They loved the movie and had a good time going out at the last minute. A lot of people who have experienced outer success in their lives have inner turmoil. They are not lovers of themselves. The Sparkses soon organized the last-minute gang and made Briggs a member. The gang's plan was that all the members agreed to accept last-minute invitations for dinners, movies, and get-togethers. During the next few months, the Sparkses refired their relationships by engaging in fresh activities, connecting with those close to them, and contacting old friends out of the blue. They celebrated Janice's new job and, as part of their ad-lib life, instituted the "nothing ordinary" rule, which says, buy only things that are unusual and special, and make a commitment to uniqueness. They sought out new experiences, visited different neighborhoods, saw contemporary art shows, and tried unusual night spots. They dropped the routine, easy and most convenient, and pursued the offbeat, innovative and funky. Everyone has negative feelings at times, and, while we may not be able to control how we feel, we are responsible for how we react to those feelings. To refire emotionally, have fun, be a friend, experience joy, show love and value spontaneity. Strengthen your relationships with the important people in your life. Put the nothing ordinary rule to work. Go where you haven't been. Welcome new people into your world and routines. The second key, refiring intellectually. The Sparkses told Jeffrey about the positive changes they had made in their lives, but both of them reported feeling adrift. After backing away from his business, Larry felt uncertain of his purpose in life. Janice didn't feel challenged by the paperwork of her executive director's position. While you two are growing emotionally, you may have to do more, Jeffrey said. What are you doing out of habit rather than zeal? He explained that they needed to expand their intellectual horizons. If you're not continuing to learn, you might as well lie down and let them throw the dirt on you, because you're already brain dead, he said, suggesting that they meet Maria and Alberto Alvarez, role models for refiring intellectually. Growing intellectually is like oxygen to a deep sea diver. Without it, you die. No matter what your occupation or position in life, you can create a plan, a curriculum, to refire intellectually, said Alvarez. Whether it's joining a book club, taking courses at a nearby university, or immersing yourself in another culture, keep your brain cells stimulated. Mrs. Alvarez and some of her colleagues created the Office of the Future, an organization that investigates new societal and technology trends. I constantly have my eyes on the horizon, so I'm continually refiring intellectually, she said. Inspired by Mrs. Alvarez, Janice planned to learn everything possible about how to employ the newest technology in her life and her new position. If you're good, she told Larry, I'll even mentor you into the 21st century. For his part, Larry planned to write a family history entitled Enduring Love. If I had a magic wand and I was going to make one change in the world, I would have people give up being right. Because for you to be right, somebody else has to be wrong. To refire intellectually, become a learner, read everything you can, apprentice yourself to mentors and try new ideas. Don't give up when things get tough. Consider what engaged you in the past. Can you resume this engagement? How can you make your life more interesting? What special classes could you take? What advanced technology could you master? The third key, refiring physically. The Sparkses successfully instituted their plans to grow intellectually. Things were going well until Larry learned from his doctor that he had type 2 diabetes, which demanded major dietary and exercise changes. Jeffrey advised Larry to begin exercising first and, once he had that routine mastered, incorporate dieting in his new lifestyle program. Janice said she also wanted to start an exercise program. Jeffrey said that at their ages, the best plan would be to start walking 5 to 6 days a week, 30 to 45 minutes a day. If you get some good shoes, wear the right clothes and walk regularly, my guess is you're both going to begin to feel better, said Jeffrey. In addition to daily aerobics, he recommended flexibility, balance training, and strength training. We can all make the world a better place through the moment-to-moment decisions we make as we interact with the people we come in contact with at home, at work, and in the community. For the diet component, he said, stop eating and drinking mindlessly, and begin eating and drinking mindfully. He advised the Sparkses to pay close attention to when, how, and why they eat. They agreed to make these lifestyle changes. Jeffrey also commended the idea of starting to consume 20% less food than normal. There's a big difference between being stuffed and being satisfied, he said. If you eat until you're full, you've eaten too much, but if you eat until you're satisfied and then stop, you're paying attention to what your body is telling you. I think we finally become adults when we realize that we're here to serve, not to be served. We're here to give, not to get. To refire physically, Make an effort to be healthy. Eat well. Begin exercising. Eat more nutritionally. Identify any obstacles that stand in your way. What realistic diet and exercise goals can you set? Can you assign specific dates for meeting your goals? The fourth key, refiring spiritually. 9 months after the Sparkses first met with Jeffrey, he told them, "I'm amazed by all the changes you've made. Talk about approaching life with enthusiasm and adding zest. You're living examples of what it means to refire." Thinking about one other dimension of refiring, Jeffrey suggested that the Sparkses might refire spiritually. He suggested meeting with supermarket manager Bobby Bradford and astronomer Cynthia Strohmeyer. Their different viewpoints should give you some perspective on how wide the spectrum can be for refiring spiritually, Jeffrey added. The Sparkses soon learned how important Bradford's spiritual renewal had been to him. Before his job at the supermarket, he'd been bitter and chronically unemployed. Then his employer took a chance, hired him and actively mentored him about the anger he felt. "He helped me make my life worth living," said Bradford. He said, "We're all part of a universe created by a God who loves us unconditionally, faults and all. This started a spiritual journey that turned my life around." Strohmeyer described a higher intelligence that manifests in every aspect of the universe. She said that as a grad student dedicated to empiricism, she had been an agnostic. People who talked about God's love and miracles sounded naive and sentimental, if not downright delusional, said Strohmeyer. But, she said, working as an astronomer had convinced her that nature presents no random coincidences and that a higher power must surely exist. To refire spiritually, assume a broad perspective. Be thankful for what you have. Understand that total control is impossible to achieve and that the world doesn't revolve around you. Examine your background. What life experiences solidified your beliefs? How can you achieve serenity? Can you discuss spirituality with someone you trust? Refire holistically. If you want to accept the challenge of refiring, start by thinking of 3 actions you can take to remake your life, and then do one of them. Refiring is not a one-time event. It's an all-consuming way of living. If you don't approach it as a holistic program, your bad habits will return, including negative thinking, mental stagnation, overeating, losing your spirituality, the complete couch potato life. Don't slip back into that trap. Maintain and enhance your newfound excitement. Approach everything with gusto. Always keep refiring, when you feel good and, most important, when you feel bad. Be prepared for the inevitable setbacks, but keep moving ahead. Become a refiring champion. Energize the people around you. Refiring works for everyone, no matter your age or circumstances. Generously teach others the refiring philosophy, so they can refire, too. Takeaways. Focus your life on significance as well as success. Significance has 3 aspects: generosity, service, and loving relationships. Refiring means recharging yourself, being enthusiastic, taking risks, and facing life with zest. The refiring philosophy addresses the heart, head, body, and soul to reinvigorate the emotional, intellectual, physical, and spiritual dimensions of your life. Refire emotionally by being positive and showing others you love them. Refire intellectually by continuing to learn. Refire physically by eating sensibly and exercising regularly. Refire spiritually by recognizing the presence of a loving, higher power and striving to be the best person possible. Refiring works for people of all ages. Refiring is not a one-time event, it's a way of living. Please like, share, and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.